Hello everyone, this is Haxaclappa and welcome to a new video. It's been a while, yes, but I've been spending a lot of time grinding out the ace on the F104G. And to be honest, this plane, man, if I could sum it up in one word, I would say it's busted. And yeah, right here, I don't upgrade the plane health because if that little bit of health really isn't going to help you. If someone hits enough shots, you're going to die. It really doesn't matter. So anyways, now let's go hop into a quick montage. Okay, so let's talk about the armament this thing gets. This plane gets 4 AIM-9Js, and if you don't know, 4 AIM-9Js can literally equal 4 free kills if you fire them on those stupid F4s. If they don't drop their burner, there's a pretty good chance you can kill them. And this game, it's not crazy. I've had better games, but this is really gonna be your average game, right? So you start off by maybe climbing a bit, but really you don't need to. This plane it's pretty fast. I don't think it's as fast as the eel, the English Electric Lightning, but it's still pretty fast. This thing doesn't have as much thrust to weight, but I think that's all right. And so to start off, we're gonna quickly do a sussy head-on with this 104, and then none of us actually manage to do damage to each other. So in this case, I go up, and as you see, I'm still running full burner. Generally, if you see someone with AIM-9Js behind you or AIM-9Gs, that being the F4E, the F5E, and the F4J, those things you have to be beware of. And there's also the T2. That thing got all aspect missiles in the recent patch, but it's still not that great. And for the Windows 4C, it really sort of matches you in your flight performance. You're not that much better than it, but what you really can do to this thing, yeah, I think I'm gonna die in this head-on. Yeah, I do. That's pretty embarrassing, losing to 104C, but I'm gonna kill this guy with the missiles a few times, so it is what it is. But as you see, I have this thing aced. This thing is not good until it's aced, because I feel like the Vulcans, they're very inconsistent. Sometimes they hit like a truck, and other times they just do nothing. Meanwhile, the AIM-9Js, these things are really, really good. They basically ignore flares if you're behind like a hot plane. And right here again, I try to head on the 104C, but I fail again. That's all right. So I'm gonna turn after him. And actually, the 104C does turn faster than me. And now I'm just gonna send a 9J at him, but he starts turning, so it doesn't track. And then I can shoot him here, but I miss. And as you see here, I'm dropping my throttle to get on his 6. This thing's optimal speed, I'm pretty sure, is somewhere around 800. And if he doesn't turn right now, he's boned. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it hits him. And this was before I bought premium. Yes, I did buy premium. That's why I was getting 73 in some of the intro clips. And then this 104C player is going to complain about me using the 9J, which, yeah, it sort of is a little scummy, so I'm just gonna throw some salt in the chat. Yeah, the 104C really can't do much against an M9J in rear aspect. And here I try to head on him again, but I just cannot hit my head-ons against him for some reason. And as you see, and now I'm gonna go against this 4J. I'm pretty sure I got some damage there, but it was nothing major. And if this guy continues to fly straight, which he does, he's gonna catch that AIM-9J with both of his hands. And I'm not sure if he flares here. I think he flares, but it's too late. And the thing is that the F4J needs to drop its burner to dodge the AIM-9J or the AIM-9G. And the same actually goes for this plane. Now this guy's firing AIM-9Bs at me. I don't have to worry about that. But this plane, if you have like an AIM-9 J or M9G carrier behind you, you have to drop your throttle to 94%. And yeah, I eat a missile there. Haha, skill issue. That's whatever. But my point is that if you want to be dodging or flaring missiles, especially the high probability of kill missiles, you have to drop your burner, and that's really just the 9G and the 9J. Other things you can flare pretty easily, but just remember to drop your throttle if you're in the middle of a furball or something, and just flare periodically. It usually works. And this thing's engine is pretty powerful, so even without burner, you should be able to outclimb or outspeed most things. But also, do keep an eye on where you're going, right? Because I've sort of crashed into some mountains while trying to flare people's missiles. But yeah, this plane, it doesn't really have that many handicaps besides its maneuverability and its massive engine. Otherwise, it's a pretty small plane. It's hard to hit, and it has the gun's all right. You see there, it actually hit. The gun's just really inconsistent, and that's all. But otherwise, I'd say this plane is probably the best plane in the game now that the F5E got nerfed. In fact, this thing can actually outturn the F4J at its optimal speed, which I find pretty crazy. Now, that's in practice. I'm not sure if it's really supposed to be like that, but sometimes I do find myself to be outturning those F4 players, which is pretty funny. And then I think I want to talk about like how the meta has shifted a little more now that the F5E got nerfed. If you guys don't know, the F5E had its turn rate cut pretty hard. And just today they added the M9P4 to the F1, so that thing has all aspect missile now. I guess we have a little bit of a gimped M9L in game. And yeah, but this plane is probably still the most meta plane you can get. This thing is brain dead as hell. If you cannot be pulling or at least going even with your KDR on this thing, I don't know what to say. Because four M9Js is definitely enough to grab yourself some free kills. Now, I just quickly chucked a M9J at that guy. I'm pretty sure he won't be able to dodge it. And yeah, this thing is actually a pretty capable dogfighter, at least in my opinion. I'd say that generally, if you keep your speed in this thing, people won't be able to catch you. You can always run. And I guess one of the things about this plane is it's sort of like an F4J taken to the extreme. The F4J, yeah, it's a bit of a boat. I kind of hate it. But this thing doesn't turn that well either. And it's a lot faster. And this thing actually retains its energy somewhat well. It doesn't have as much thrust to weight as the F4J, but yeah, that F4J is basically the closest you can get to this. But this thing, I feel like, is just a lot better than it. It has a better gun than an F4J. And this thing is also the exact opposite of the Mirage. And this thing retains its speed really well. You just remember to actually drop your throttle if you need to force someone to overshoot. Once you turn on that burner, you could probably get away with losing all your speed. And that's about it. This is probably the best plane in the game right now, right? Because this thing it has really good missiles. But last video I was complaining about the F5E and how it's really overpowered, but I don't think I have a problem with this plane. Maybe it's because I've invested a lot of time grinding this thing out, but this plane actually takes some skill. You can't go in and just start holding S and just start killing everyone. This plane, you actually have to sort of pick your targets, toss missiles at people. It's not as brain dead as the F5E, and I think in its current state, I think it's alright. The plane's alright. I don't think it needs to be nerfed. It would be really funny if they put all aspect missiles on this thing, but probably not for the best of the game. But yeah, this is the 104G, the best plane in the game right now, and that's a pretty easy MVP right there.